about to see the world in action, what we can be. Life with no distractions, we'll get away. This is what we waited for.
Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel and welcome to another cook with me video. So today I'm going to show you how I make a chicken tikka masala. I know this is not the traditional method and everybody has their own way of doing things. I actually get it from this book here, which is Marks and Spencer's World Foods of India, and it's just a recipe I found in here. I have had this book since Steve and I moved in together, which is coming on 15 years now, so I won't be able to link the recipe below or the book because they probably don't even make it anymore. But I will leave all my ingredients linked down below and I will take you through the step-by-step guide of how I did it. So let's take a look. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is take my chicken breast and dice it up into small chunks. The next stage is to actually marinate my chicken, so I always do this in a Ziploc bag if possible. It just saves any mess, and I'm just going to pop it in there and then put my ingredients in and leave it for as long as possible to soak in. If you can leave it overnight, that's great, but if not, at least 1 or 2 hours minimum. First ingredient is this Tandoori masala powder. You can get this in the World Food aisle of Sainsbury's or Tesco, and I'm just using 2 of these cups, which works out to be about 100 grams. I'm also using some lime juice. This is around 50 millilitres, and it just helps the tandoori powder to soak into the chicken breast and get that flavour all the way through. Once you've added those 2 things, you just want to give it a good mix around with your hands, make sure the chicken is coated, and then leave it for at least an hour in the fridge, but preferably about 12. So to make the sauce, you're just going to need some ground coriander, some smoked paprika. You can use normal paprika, but I've got smoked, so I'm going to use that. Some ground cumin. I use 2 teaspoons of each of these. I've got a 400 gram tin of peeled plum tomatoes, a 400 gram tin of coconut milk, and this is the light version. It doesn't matter if you've got the light or the full fat. I've also got 1 red chilli that I'm going to chop, 2 garlic cloves that I'm going to crush up, 1 onion that I'm going to chop finely, salt and pepper, and some oil to fry it in, and then I'm just going to heat up the spices before I add my other ingredients. So to start with, I'm just going to add a little bit of vegetable oil into my pan, and I'm just going to brown the onions for a couple of minutes. After the onions have been cooking for a couple of minutes and just started to change colour, I'm going to add my chopped red chilli and my 2 crushed cloves of garlic. And we'll give those another minute or so and then add my dried spices. Alright, so now I'm going to add my dried spices. So I'm going to put 2 teaspoons of each. So we've got ground coriander, I've got some smoked paprika, and some ground cumin, just roughly 2 teaspoons of each. And then I'm just going to let those toast for a little while. Turn the heat down a little bit. It's very important that you let your spices toast and you don't add them raw, otherwise they can be really, really bitter. They need the heat to release the flavour. Alright, so to my spice mixture, I'm just going to add a tin of plum tomatoes and my tin of light coconut milk, and I'm going to season that with some salt and pepper, probably around half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of each, and I'm going to mix it in, and then I'm going to let it simmer for as long as I can really. The longer you let it simmer, the better the flavour will be. So the only other thing I'm going to add, and this is completely optional, I'm going to add a tablespoon of clear honey. Now this is completely up to you. Some people like their curries with a little bit of sweetness and some people don't. It's got a nice coconut creamy flavour, but I'm going to add a tablespoon in while it's simmering. because I like that little hint of sugar that the honey adds. So I'm just going to let that simmer for a little while longer. So the next step is to brown off the chicken. Now this is just a method I use because I like it to get a little bit of a smoky, kind of crispy edge to it. I'm just going to put it on my grill. You can use George Foreman grill or a panini grill. You can literally just take it out of the fridge and brown it off in a frying pan with a little bit of oil. I'm not going to cook it all the way through, I'm just going to sear it on here. You can pop it in the oven or just under a conventional grill if you want to grill it. I always use this, it just gives it that nice charred flavour. And I know you can do it with coal in a frying pan as well, but I don't have any coal and I've not tried that method yet, but I definitely want to try that one day. So I'm just going to let that get some crispiness to it and then I'm going to pop it in the sauce. So now the chicken has got a little bit charred and a little bit of flavouring on it, I'm going to add it into my sauce and just make sure it's cooked all the way through. So now I've added the chicken, I'm just going to let it cook together for a little while and then it'll be ready to dish up. So here we are all dished up. I've just served it with some plain boiled rice and a Peshwari naan bread, and then I've just topped it with a little bit of fresh coriander. So if you have got any questions, please make sure to comment down below and I will get back to you as soon as I can, or DM me over on Instagram. It is the Foulger family. So if you're not already subscribed, please make sure you go and do so and hit the thumbs up button, and I will see you in our next video.
This is what we waited for.